Hello and welcome, class 12th Commerce. Our today's topic is formal and informal organization. Okay, very interesting topic and very meaningful to know that what is formal organization and what is informal organization, right? So, you have come across with many of the situations like you are in a school, okay, and during the recess time you have seen that, or other times also you have observed that teachers are discussing with each other, and I'm sure that you must have overheard them and shared the gossip with your friends. Many times it might have been directly related to your studies, exams, performance, etc. But at times you have seen that it might have been their personal conversation, like discussing family or their children education and all. So now let us have some examples of these things, like when your principal has fixed a meeting for commerce department, okay, on Friday afternoon, okay. So this is what type of structure or what type of organization. It is formal, okay. It is basically formal. And when uh, like when somebody is discussing, some teachers are discussing that I heard about your husband's promotion, he is now CEO of the company, congrats, okay, they are discussing this thing. So this is what, this is informal, this is informal, okay. That means formal is official line of interaction, okay. When somebody is interacting, relating to the institution, relating to the organization, in that situation he is in formal organization, formal organization. The interaction, the communication, that structure is formal, okay. So, and when they are interacting on their personal issues, or when the matter is not concerned directly with the institution or the organization, that is informal, okay. So formal organization refers to the structure where an organization lays down the job description for each task to be performed, and the rules and regulations, procedures related to work processes, okay. So the formal organization may have functional or divisional structure, okay. So let us discuss one by one. Number one, we are discussing the formal organization, right? So what I am telling you, that formal organizations refers to the structure, okay, structure where an organization lays down the job description. An organization job description, okay, for each task to be performed. For each task, to be performed, right? And the rules and procedures related to the work process. Rules and procedures right? At the same time, formal organization may have functional or divisional structure. Right? So this is the meaning of formal organization, and this is the key points. This is the key point. Fine. So this is what is the formal organization. Let us consider again. Formal organization refers to structure where an organization lays down the job description for each task to be performed and the rules and procedures related to the work process. Formal organization may have functional and divisional structure, right? And in a summarized manner, in one word, if you want to understand, then formal organization means official organization. Okay? Where the interaction, where the communication, where the relationship is official. Where they all are bound to follow that structure. Okay? And that structure is formal. Formal can be of two types, functional or divisional structure. Okay? You note down all these points. Then we will discuss the features of formal and informal organization. Right? So now let us discuss the features of formal organization. So here I will be discussing five features of formal organization. Number one is means to achieve objectives. Right? That means it is the way, formal organization is the way by which an organization can achieve its objectives. So formal organization provides rules and procedures related to specific tasks to be performed. So that organizational structure or objective, that organizational objectives are achieved effectively. Okay? In the formal organization, the role of each and every individual is clearly dictated. Okay? They are having a relation of authority responsibility with each other. So in their mind there is a clarity of organizational objectives for what they are being appointed in the organization. So when this structure will be prevailing or this type of organization is present in any of the organization, okay, then this system is present in any of the organization, that certainly gives rules and procedure to complete a particular task, and every task is towards the achievement of organizational objective, that too with effectiveness, that too with efficiency, right? So this is what is the first point. Okay. Right. Second point is formal organization states the boundaries of authority and responsibility. Okay. It specifies the boundaries of authority and responsibility, right? That means formal organization specifies, it states the limit of authority and responsibility of each and every individual in the organization. As formal organization specifies the relationship among the job positions and the nature of their interrelationships. Okay. This clarifies the reporting system. Who has to report to whom? Who is the boss? Who is the subordinate? Who is the superior? Who is the subordinate? Okay. So this clarifies the reporting relationship by clearly stating who will report to whom. Fine. Then third point of feature, it coordinates the activities. Many of the times I have discussed this word balancing, synchronization, harmonization of different individuals' opinion and task. Okay. So here coordinates activities, that means it balance the activities of one department to another, one single person to another single person. Okay. So formal organization systematically conditions or coordinates, interlinks and integrates, unifies the efforts of various departments and various activities to achieve organizational goals, right? Then fourth point is it facilitates smooth functioning. How formal organization facilitates smooth functioning of whom? Smooth functioning of the organization, smooth functioning of every individual, work of every individual, because the rules and regulations guide each employee in the organization to facilitate smooth function. Okay. So rules and regulations guide each employee in the organization to facilitate smooth function. Okay. Then fifth point of feature is it emphasizes on work processes. How? So formal organization emphasizes on work to be performed rather than interpersonal relationship, gossiping among the employees. Okay. It gives more emphasis or concern towards the fulfillment of organizational goals rather than giving importance to the interpersonal relationship among the employees. Okay, because everybody is bound by the rules and regulation of the organization. They have to fulfill certain tasks. Okay, they have to perform certain duties. They are authorized, they are responsible, they are accountable for some or another job. So formal organization gives more emphasis on work to be performed rather than giving emphasis or importance to interpersonal relationship among the employees. Right? This is what is the features of formal organization. Right? You write down all these things and please make notes and show it to me as assignment. Right? Note down. Now let us discuss the advantages. Advantages of formal organization. Okay. Number one is easy to fix responsibility. If you are having formal organizational structure, whether it is functional or divisional, okay, so it is very easy to fix responsibility of one individual. Who is responsible for what type of result? Because the clarity defines mutual relationship. Make it easy or easier to fix responsibilities. Right? Then second is no ambiguity, confusion. No ambiguity in instructions. Okay? Okay? There is no confusion, no ambiguity. Okay? Among the individuals relating to the instructions they have received, because it assigns specific responsibilities or duties to each member. This minimizes ambiguity or confusion and avoids duplication of efforts, right? Because of the formal structure, everybody is known or everybody is aware about their duties, their responsibility. It is very easy to fix their responsibility and there will be no confusion. One and another member is not having any ambiguity with each other because they are in that formal structure. They know what they have to perform. They know to whom they have to report. There is no any duplication, possibility of duplication, doubling of efforts, right? Then third thing is it maintains unity of command. Maintains unity of command. Okay. When we were discussing the lesson number 2, principles of management, at that time we have discussed unity of command. Unity of command means one boss for each and every subordinate. Okay. That means one should receive order and instructions from one boss only. Okay. So that means when there will be formal organization, the well established relationship through the chain of command enables to maintain unity of direction, unity of command. Right? Everybody is aware about their duties, their responsibilities, their authority, and they know from whom they have to take the orders, whom they have to obey. Okay, that is why in this way they know and it maintains unity of command in the organization. Fine. Then fourth point we will discuss is that formal organization focuses on organizational goals. Okay. Focuses on organizational goals, right? As we have discussed, means to achieve objectives, it only focuses on organizational goals because predetermined framework for operations. This ensures that each member work towards the achievement of organizational goals effectively. There will be no interpersonal or time waste type of interaction, okay, because they are bound to fulfill their duties on time, okay. So in this way, the predefined, that means already decided operations are there for each and every one, and this ensures that each member works towards the achievement of organizational goals, okay. This also provides one very basic thing, that is it provides stability. Stability of personnel or employees in the organization, stability of the organization in the market, and stability of each and everything, limit for each and everything. So behavior of each and every employee is guided by the rules and regulations. This provides stability in the organization, that how a particular person will react, how a particular person should behave in the organization. All these things are already laid down as rules and regulation of the organization. That is why they are clear in their performance, and this provides them stability in the organization, right? You please listen these things again in this lecture. Note down all these points and make your notes so that you can understand all these things, not only by these topics, but you should know that what you have to write to explain these things, these terms. Fine? Please note down. Then we will move forward towards informal organization. So before moving ahead towards the informal organization, let us clear the doubt of some limitations. Okay, what are those limitations of formal organization? Okay, because as we are discussing the informal organization, okay, so before, what is the need for informal organization will come from the limitations of formal organization. Okay, as far as advantages are concerned, formal organization is having many advantages, okay, like we have discussed the 5. Okay, formal structure is very much needed in the organization. There should be rules and regulation in every institution, every organization, okay, otherwise nobody will be able to complete his or her task, will not be responsible for anything, okay. There will be no authority responsibility relationship, there will be no formal lines of command, there will be no unity of command, there will be no unity of direction, there will be no accomplishment of organizational goals, okay. So that is why formal organization is needed, we understand. That is why formal organization is having advantages. But if formal organization is present, then what is the need for informal organization? Okay, when official organization is sufficient, was sufficient, then how this informal organization is created? Okay, the very answer of this question is the limitations of formal organization, because formal organization comes with some drawbacks. Okay, it is having some drawbacks. That is why the need of informal organization for the employees is necessary. Okay, we will discuss informal organization, but before that, what are those needs, what are those limitations of formal organization? Let us discuss those things. So, though the formal organization makes it easy for employees to complete the task of the organization, okay, of the profession, but the formal way of handling business may act as hurdles. Okay, how? Some of the limitations of formal organizations, like because of some procedural delays, okay, procedural delays, okay. So when we talk about procedural delays, okay, so that means every time we are focusing on rules and procedures, it gives us a chain that we have to follow, okay. And this decision making in formal organization need to follow the chain of command, which may take longer time to decide and which leads towards the delays, okay. Let me explain once again that the decision making in formal organization need to follow the chain of command, okay. They have to confirm from their bosses, which may take longer time to decide, leading to delays. Like you have seen in government offices or in corporate offices, they are having a procedure of each and everything. Like if an employee want some leave, they want to grant leave for 2 days, okay. So he will give the application mentioning the purpose to his boss or the superior. If superior is having the authority to sanction the leave, then he will sanction by his own order. But if it is not in the hands or in the authority of the superior, so he will pass on that application to his superior, okay. And same is in the case of his superior. If he is authorized to take decision regarding leave, so he will take, otherwise he will also pass on to his superior. So in this way there will be a time involvement, okay. Super superior, top authority will make the action, take the action, give the instruction, then those instructions will go on to the middle level to supervisory level, and then to the workers or the employees. So in this way there will be a time involvement. This is casual issue, okay. But if it is formal issue, if it is official issue, like customer is facing some problem, he has complained to the sales manager or the salesman reported to the sales manager to the head of marketing to the managing director to other people, okay, who are authorized to take decision regarding those tasks. So what will happen, it will take a chain to complete, okay, a procedure to follow. So this need to follow the chain of command, which may take longer time to decide, leading to delays, okay. This is one of the limitation, that it takes procedural delays, okay. Second limitation of formal organization is that no recognition for creativity, okay. Okay. If any employee is creative enough, he is having some ideas of enhancement of productivity or profit, so he will not be allowed to discuss his ideas freely or apply his ideas freely in the organization because he is not authorized, okay. He is not authorized to take decisions on creative issues, okay. If there is some system of group discussion, then that is possible, but group discussion and formal you can say meetings or suggestions are not followed in all the organizations, okay. Sometimes they are bound to follow the orders of their superiors. So there is no recognition, okay, no identity for, or no credit will be given to the creativity of the employees. So in this way the employees are required to follow the predetermined rules and procedures without any deviation, means differences, okay. This makes employees just doers, okay, and restricts them from using their own creativity. Fine. So this is one of the limitation. Third and the very critical thing as the limitation of formal organization, that no understanding of human relationships. Okay, no understanding So what we are discussing since the beginning of this topic, that of this chapter, that all the members in the organization are having a single relationship with each other. That relation is authority responsibility relationship. They are not having any interpersonal or human relation with each other. Fine. So there is no any place for human relationships, okay, in the formal organization. Organizational goals are important. Your personal feelings, your interpersonal relationship is not having any place in the formal organization. This is what is the theme of formal organization. And this is one of the limitation of formal organization, because if somebody will not be able to see the informal relation or interpersonal relationship, so there will be no bonding, there will be no team spirit, mutual trust on each other, because they all are officially bound to follow those rules and procedures. So formal organization fails to understand human relationships, as its main focus is on work processes as compared to interpersonal relationships. Okay, so only these three limitations are there of the formal organization, because of which sometimes formal organization, those rules, regulation, procedures used to fail in the organization used to face crisis, because they are not having any human or personal relationship with each other, no interpersonal relationship. Okay, there is procedural delays, there is no recognition on the part of management or the formal organization of the creativity, no appreciation on human grounds. Okay, so these are some of the limitations. I hope you understood the whole topic. Fine. So you please note down, make your own notes, show it to me on your assignment box, okay, or submit it through my mail ID or the WhatsApp address. Right. Thank you very much. Keep learning, keep revising, be safe. Okay, thank you.